right? He just keeps his Storm healthy and happy, and I really like that combo together.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey!
Monkey, we talked
We
about
get
that
to see
here.
some.
He's alive!
So I guess Hoodwink's going 5 position. That's not usually where we see Hoodwink, but I think they just really want to value the monkey and the vision he brings. It's a way to maybe, try and catch a Storm through it with the boundless setup into like whatever, your follow-up disables from Hoodwink, Beastmaster Roar. There is the Abaddon shield though. Razor. I think Beastmaster is one of these offlaners that usually when you see tiny drafts gets banned, but they just felt like maybe they just need to target some other things because Beastmaster is just so good at enabling tiny. Like this hero loves buffs, loves attack speed, auras especially, so he's just a perfect complement to tiny.
You know if Army Geniuses play Razor a lot? Like, do they play it in offlane? Because if I look at this draft, I'm thinking it could go offlane into the tiny lane.
Ah. I don't know if they play offline Razor. I know they pick Razor decent-ish amount, but I don't recall them playing it offlane.
How is the tiny Razor matchup?
Obviously, it's decently Razor favored. They do have like tossbacks and stuns and stuff, but I think Razor should farm freely in this lane. It's just because I'm thinking he's paired with a melee support, so usually you want to give those a ranged offlaner. Death Prophet's like the best one, obviously this patch, but she's banned. We've seen like random stuff like Queen of Pains. We've seen Puck even. That was a random one that Mizu played. So I'm just thinking Razor would fit nicely here. Because I don't think I want to put Razor against Beastmaster.
What's a hero that you would want them to pick up against the Beast?
The best carries are like Phantom Assassin, Naga Siren. The
Illusion, yeah.
Yeah, PL.
PL, like.
Yep.
TB used to be considered like one of the best as well. TB and the tiny doesn't seem too bad. But maybe that's where you get greedy. And I don't think you want TB Storm plus Razor, so
it's awkward because your supports can't deal with the boars whatsoever. I think that's like one of the best reasons why they picked the Beastmaster. Like generally, even like Bane, people like to play Beast into Bane, but he can still like brain sap your boar and like kind of click it down. He's got like decent base damage.
Yeah.
Abaddon, not really gonna be able to deal with it.
You usually want like a ranged carry with Abaddon. Maybe PA is the exception because you've got the blink and like Abaddon. If you start right clicking people, your PA can kind of get in on the action.
So, who has lost? Okay, so UDV, I think this tiny is like, I'm fairly 100% sure it's going to carry. So they need an offlaner. Again, they also have a melee support in Monkey Kings.
I mean, they need a mid.
Oh, sorry, a mid. Yeah, I'm Braveheart. Oh yeah, because I was like thinking in my head that like this is such an awkward lane, Beast Monkey. They're like two melee heroes that potentially abused by a last pick here from Army. And then I started moving heroes around in my head and I got confused.
So you think you would move Beast to mid?
No, God, no.
Oh, I was going to say, what?
No. They should put him offlane for sure. I was just thinking whether they could put the Hoodwink with the Beast and then
Monkey
Tiny.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I want to do.
I feel like we saw one game of Monkey 5. I can't remember how it did. I just remember there was a team that somehow ended up with a Monkey 5.
Yeah.
But
Team pick.
They could even like bamboozle us all, put this tiny mid monkey carry. Whoa, they shouldn't do that.
I don't think you want Monkey 5 if it's Razor in the offlane, but against, if it's a melee offlane, like, Nyx, Monkeys 5 against Nyx seems fine.
Yeah. Let's say they are going for a mid hero. Is there anything that sticks out for you guys?
It could be boring. Could say Void Spirit.
Well,
Void's not boring. Anyone out there who plays Void, I don't think you're boring. Okay? Don't think he's a boring hero.
Okay.
Okay?
It's a great meepo game. if UDV play it.
Yeah, the puck's banned, so I think against the Storm, just having more catch is always nice. They shield off one stun, just throw down another. Maybe Ember. Ember to Nyx seems pretty. It's not a great Ember game, but just seems like we need a mid. What do we get? Let's get a Spirit, but.
Swear to God, every mid hero feels so sad into Nyx. If you see Nyx in every team, you're like, I don't even know what I want to play. I'm just sad.
Oh, so you go like double offlaner kind of strat. I mean, Mars will be mid, I assume here, but I don't think Beast mid is a thing. But
UDV have played
cool.
Mars mid in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it up against the Storm?
Oh.
Yeah, this is the every now and then you see these teams just go for the tanky boy draft where it's like these 3 tanky, impossible to kill cores against the draft when they see there is enough damage. Like Nyx Abaddon support duo, very low damage. Razor as a carry is kind of lowish damage. Like you got a static link, you build up your damage over time. You don't burst someone down. Storm doesn't really burst down these heroes either. So I think this puts a lot of pressure on Army Genius to get something with like some kind of real serious damage output here.
Like PA would be really amazing. Her shard is a break, so it's like fantastic against Mars. She's really good in lane against the Beastmaster. She like her shard not only breaks, but it does like percentage damage, which is really effective against heroes like Tiny, especially on core. So I personally would really like to see her be picked up here. I don't really have alternatives. That's what I want. I don't want
It needs to be that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, again, they picked her up in game 1, so
yeah,
we know that they can play and win with her.
for sure.
Yep. This is RMG. This is where they bust out something completely wonky because they love
Slock.
their bizarre picks.
Sniper.
Safely bust out the Timbersaw again. Is Timbersaw still there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Isn't this like a sick Timber game? Like play Razor carry with a Timber?
I thought about it. And
And then
I
you were
was
like, no, I want PA.
Then I was like, I hate Timber just in general. So no. But
Oh, that
yeah,
was it. That was the whole reason. I just
They could.
personally dislike Timber, and
I
therefore
just
they
hate
should not
Timber.
pick
It's
her.
always tough. Like you just lose with a hero. Like
God
you really
damn
want to
it.
go back.
I just hate Timber so.
Well, I want to know if Ares and Danog hate Timbersaw as much as you guys, Danog. If you want to
Who's
start.
that Pokemon?
It's me, not the hotel creeper, that's for sure. But I don't know. I was kind of hoping for this Mars to come through for Army Geniuses instead of the Timbersaw. And I was kind of feeling the Invoker as well. What do you guys feel?
Oh no, I didn't mean you were a creeper, bro. I saw you. You had just like a sack of rice, and you just kept leaving like grains of rice in front of doors in that hotel. It was so weird.
Ares, are you the hotel creeper?
No, I'm definitely not the hotel creeper. I don't know what this rice leaving in front of doors. I don't know what is
Sounds
going
like some
on.
serial killer shit.
What
the hell?
I want to clear this up. She was like gonna try and like come out with some like witty, weird as heck like funny story, and she couldn't think of one fast enough on the spot. She had the whole game and the pause of game 2, and still couldn't think of something funny enough. So she came back with a rice being left out the front of doors.
What do you mean? I
pretty
didn't
witty.
try and think about a story the whole thing. I was watching the game and doing my job.
So true. My bad. But Harry's, anything you want to share with us about the draft and not hotel creeping?
I will see. This is a decent I think Timber, I'm in agreement. It's a difficult hero to play at the moment, I think, especially into the Hoodwink as well. All you need is the Hoodwink to be able to kill the Timber. You have the break. It's a lot of damage as well. And later on, it could be pure, but that's all you need. Just a stun into sharpshooter. He will be killable throughout the entirety of the game. So we'll see if that's enough to be able to net them this game 3 victory.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have enough faith in UDV to force some tiebreakers?
I hope so. I think that would be the
fun.
way more exciting result of this
So
series.
that's a yes, and that's a
They've looked like the better team.
yes.
They played
That's a
better games
double
than us.
yes. Ares and Danog, let me know where you guys stand as we head into game number 3.
Yeah, you got a triple yes from me. I am a big fan of the Monkey King as a support. Anytime I see any team pick this up, I'm always starting to give them a little bit of the edge. I feel like the vision that this hero provides is ridiculous, and you have a Beastmaster to amplify that as well. But Danog, do we have 4 yeses for UDV? Is it the Jinx? What's going on?
I'm going to say yes for UDV as well, because we're talking about these supports, and the Monkey King is, of course, a fantastic one. What the hell is this Nyx Assassin going to do this game? It's what I want to ask you. Because it feels like he's very ineffective against a lot of what UDV are looking to throw their way. The only thing that I could potentially think of where he's going to have some decent impact early on is once Tiny is like farming in his jungle with the tree grab, and then he'll use the Spike Carapace to get the cleave. That sets up for the Storm Spirit to come in and maybe get a kill. That's
So
it. I don't see the Nyx having any other impact this game.
Yeah, so I think they put themselves in a position where you were looking to preemptively counter the Medusa, and the Nyx is quite a hero to do that. And, well, UDV are like, we don't really have to pick the Medusa, and now you're playing with the Nyx Assassin, which is a bit of an awkward hero. But they did pair the Nyx with the Storm Spirit, which I am a big fan of this combo. I think this is actually something we've seen Apes run a couple of times as well, even though they are one of the teams that are guaranteed relegation, but UK with
I think
his
Apes
Nyx.
ran it specifically in response to the Deucer as well. Like, they were one of the first people to actually figure out, like, we'll just pick Pango and we'll pick the Nyx Assassin against a Deucer. And, like, what does a Deucer do?
So Storm is always a hero that thrives on having vision to the backline. You know, being able to catch out these supports, blow them up, get in and out, and I think that's the big thing about the Knicks. So they have cool synergy with this together, and I also really like what you brought up, just with your potential that you can have this Spike Carapace into the Tiny Cleave, and then go from there. You might need Womni as well to get rid of the Tiny at that stage, but we'll see how it can shape up.
I think you absolutely need to get a lot of those types of kills happening, because this can't be another game where Ken just has like more than double the net worth of the closest person. You need to make sure it's much more even, and the only way that you're going to do that, like Tiny's going to farm. That's what he does. So you just need to make sure that Naaman as well as Azura are making these rotations through and getting those frequent kills onto him to kind of bring him back to the pack with this Razor, because obviously you've got such a great timing with that BKB, and then of course the Refresher Orb with the Razor. And as well, Azura, with getting those kills onto the Tiny, he'll probably have a lot of net worth. Once you kill him, you're going to get yourself a lot closer to your own BKB. And I was talking with you during the draft about how exactly Army Geniuses are going to take a lot of these team fights. And I think it's just all going to be around Azura zipping in super deep, like aggressively with that BKB pop, so that you're forced to use the Primal Roar onto him. And then once that happens, Razor has a free team fight. You're just running in, and there's absolutely nothing that they're going to be able to do to stop. There's no BKB piercing stuns once that Primal Roar is used.
It's really going to be difficult for Army Geniuses to play. Because for me, I feel like they have a very low margin of error. And I think a lot of lineups have that when you don't have great ways. One, if your stuns are lacking and you don't have great ways to initiate, you don't have good team fight, I think you really need to snowball the game and go from there. And it all comes back to the lanes. This is something that we heard Varese speak about a lot through the I guess the pre-game content and his at least idea of how this game and how this series was going to play out. So we've seen the side lanes haven't been going well at all for Army Geniuses, but hopefully that can turn it around for them.
Doesn't feel like there's going to be much happening in this top lane, though. You know, the Timbersaw, Nyx Assassin, it's not the strongest of lanes. You know, so Naaman's basically just trying to ensure that there's no creep full shenanigans happening. He's fairly tanky as a Nyx Assassin with some good base regen. Just making sure that this Timbersaw is as isolated as possible with the Tiny. That's exactly what you want. I mean, there's 3 strength cores in this game so far, so it's a pretty nice Timber game.
I think what they're going to do early is have Naaman TP bottom and try and get a kill on the Beastmaster, because if they can shut down Rapido, then it slows down the pace of the game for UDV. Like, if you can really, really limit how fast this Helm of the Overlord comes out, then that is a huge factor. And especially even getting DB online early, too.
I wonder when he wants to make that rotation, right? Because Wami, he's level 3. He's fine. Like, he's probably not going to be dying up on this top side. And it almost feels like maybe the timing where they had to kill this Beastmaster is gone. He's got up onto his level 3 now. He's going to have an extra point in the Call of the Wild Boar. Razor's not the greatest at being able to clear out those boars, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. And you've also got the Helm of Iron Will coming out to him, so he's just going to be so much tanky with all that extra armor and regen.
Mid lane, we have... Oh, Tiny? Ken just getting away, my lord. He almost was killed off from Wami with 2 points in the Whirling Death into the Strength Hero. But yeah, mid lane looking pretty favored for Azure at the moment. The 19-6 compared to the 14-3. What do you feel like is the big reasoning that they tried to, show the flex of the Mars into the position too?
Honestly, good question. Timbersaw is not really stopped all that much by the arena. Storm Spirit isn't stopped by the arena. Razor goes a super early BKB, so that doesn't really impact the arena. They're not exactly lacking in physical damage, right? So, I don't know. Are they wanting him to get like a Phase Boots BKB Desolator on this Mars? That's all I can really think of, just to overwhelm them in damage. They might just say, look, you Static Link.
Ken?
And just get aggressive.
Jesus, that was way too close. So I think with how I look at the Mars, I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw at Singapore Major last year, where China, their read on the way to counter Puck at that time was going Mars mid, and Zazuru almost dies, but it was the Yule Scepter. Like, yours is a great way to be able to set up for the spear, and it's going to be the same into the Storm Spirit as well. So if they feel like they need a guaranteed initial stun, then to go afterwards, that could be the route that JG considers. They also have very good team fight. You've got Arena into Wukong, so much area denial. And if you force out a really early BKB from Razor, all of a sudden his fight is going to be super difficult to get that maxed out static link and really start doing any damage.
Yeah, I don't think... Oh, gonna get a few of these boars. I don't think you actually need the Yule Scepter on the Mars this game. You've got a Monkey King to be able to set up, right? He just goes in the trees, gets the Boundless Strike, and you've got tons of stuns to be able to follow that up on. Tiny, Mars, Primal Roar, doesn't matter. Rapido is going to be forced to TP away. Cost of Lucifer leaving the lane.
Yeah, that is a very good point, because Monkey King is quite an exceptional hero to be able to start with the stun. I mean, 1.6 seconds maxed out. He can even get the 10 talent as well if need be. So you can just play off the back of the monkey if that's going to be the case, and then you can always just Mars blink over the tree line. So yeah, I like that call a lot. And then you can go for a little bit more of the scaling build. Like, it just, if you really do want to consider the Deso to have more late game involvement, or even get you to your refresher just a little bit earlier. And I think if he gets refresher, then all of a sudden it's all eyes on how DB uses BKBs in these fights.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of surprised at how many levels Varese has. You know, he's level 4, and he's giving a bunch of experience over to DB, so he's going to have his level 5 as well. But the one that's suffering at this point is Lucifer. He's still just sitting at level 3. He's been trying to trade against an Abaddon, but you don't want to get too close to a Razor Abaddon lane. Sure, they don't have any stuns, but you're just going to get instantly bullied out.
Top lane, we do have a rotation from Azura. Don't have many trees to be able to utilize the Whirling Death, so Ken has done a very good job for trying to cut down as many as possible.
Grabs one out of the ground, cuts one down with a Quelling Blade. He's a menace. Honestly, Timbersaw would probably like that, considering all of his lore. You know the lore of Timber?
I do not. I'm not a lore master, but enlighten me, please.
So basically, his entire village and its inhabitants were killed by tree people, basically. What? So he hates trees. Yeah.
Right. Bottom lane, Azura. Another rotation for him, but it's going to be into Rapido's lane. Boundless Strike to hold the back, and JG looks to follow up. He's now got the mana to be able to find the speed connection. They're going to try and target DB down, but for Reese, with the early levels, it's going to be enough sustain for DB to limp into the tree line. Can Lucifer get the last right click? What? No, they can't! DB's still alive, and now it's a triple kill down bottom as Army Geniuses. Finally, they've been able to hit back game 1 and game 2. It's all been UDV in their off lane, but Varese and my guy on DB gets some revenge.
And the caster curse is real, man. Like, it just feels like they have so much potential to dominate this laning stage. It's just not happening. Even just in the mid lane, right? You picked this Mars in the last phase, and Azura is clearly coming out on top. Nearly an 800 net worth lead at the 8-minute mark.
So Wami is taking the hard and medium stack away from Ken, and there's nothing really they can do to the Timbersaw.
Ken's just trying to hang around to maybe get the spell combination off to prevent that from happening. So in the end, he just ends up softening it up for him. Got a couple.
Oh no.
And taking away one of the creeps there with the stun.
That is
yeah, I want to see when do you think we're going to look to see some more aggression happening from Azura? He's got his second Null Talisman now. I think he could still go the Kaya, but I think you need the BKB after the Kaya. I think
Varese has walked into the wrong neighborhood by bottom secret shot. That is.
Yeah.
There we go. First kill for UDV, and it will be Repeater that finds it. So influx of gold given over to the Beastmaster. You were asking when are we going to see Azura's next rotation, right?
See his rotation, but also like his item build. He's got 2 Null Talismans. I'm kind of in 2 minds. I'm not a mid player, so I'm not sure. Do you still go like max Null Talismans into a BKB? Do you go the Kaya to set up for a Kaya and Sanj, just so that even when you get Primal Rod, for example, in the BKB, it's not going to last as long? Just little things like that. But I just think this BKB is such an enormous timing for him.
I think that, along with DB's BKB as well. You know, you kind of hate going for it, especially when you have an Abaddon, like any defensive support. But these are two heroes that heavily rely on not being controlled through fights. So for Army Geniuses, we're looking at the BKB timings, and for Dire, it's really just how much you can get out of the early game. We've got a couple of stacks. Actually, I think that's a triple or a quad at the Ancients. So Tiny's gonna love that.
It's normally pretty good regardless, the BKB on the Razor, right? But you can't rely on the Abaddon as much this game just because you're against a Mars, right? The arena is going to stop you from running at people. So you need that BKB for the aggressive potential.
Stalemate we have 10 minutes in. Army Geniuses with the net worth lead. Definitely slower pace than what we saw in game 2, but
look at the lines being drawn on the map. They want to try and catch out the Tiny when he's farming. There's smoke coming through from Narman as well as Azura. Doesn't have the Vendetta available, but he gets caught out here.
oh, beautifully done. Spike Carapace, so Azura can close the distance with ease, and that's another kill. And I love this. They're trying to shut down the Beastmaster. It's so difficult to kill off the Tiny. He's going to have stacks to catch back up on. But just slow down the Beast. Delay the Helm of the Overlord, and he really will struggle with his impact. It's really just going to be off the Hawk vision shortly if he keeps dying like this.
Even just the way that he's skilled up for the lane, right? Oftentimes when you're up against a melee hero, you want to max out the static link. Probably less so the Beastmaster, right? You need the plasma field to be able to deal with those fours. It's great at just shoving laves out. So he's revealed by the plasma field, so DB knows enough to be able to get away. But yeah, just really good early game coming through from Army Geniuses so far.
And that's exactly what they needed. The fast, almost fast pace, but it's 4 kills in, but they're getting active. They're trying to make kills down bottom, trying to make stuff happen. And all the cores are getting as much farm, and Narman's doing his job as well. Scouting out, seeing the stacks, seeing the rotations.
He's able to at least soak up some of this experience on the top side, but Wami's in no danger of dying anytime soon. So the real question for me is, when are they actually looking to make a rotation on UDV's side? I feel like they're kind of okay with sitting back and being a bit passive, because, they got a Tiny, but you got to get some of these objectives.
Long-range stun. Azura has an arcane rune to play with. Sidestep the bushwhack. He's going to miss this spear as well. Meanwhile, Lucify gets killed off for the Nidra crit, but Azura wants to actually go back in. DB's on the wrong side of the wall to be able to follow up with Azura, and they even have Wami showing up as well. So now Ken, he's going to be forced to retreat away from the area. The defensive toss, and that'll be enough. Now back to the river we go as Abaddon in a bit of trouble. JG has a God to Rebuke back up shortly. That'll be enough with the help of the creep. And now they're back in though. Azura has got enough resources to play with. One more zip, and it's DB that has the finishing blow thanks to the Eye of the Storm.
Seems like they're pretty keen to try and take away this Ancient stack as well.
Wow.
Eye of the Storm, Plasma Field, see you later, all of Tiny's farm.
Yes, sir. TB and Wami loving life right now. This is huge. That should catch up for the Tiny. That's your steroid, and now they don't have it. Radiant are doing an exceptional job at playing around UDV's triangle.
They've been assisted a little bit. I mean, Azura got a regen rune into an arcane rune, and they've just made the most out of those timings. So kudos to them, but Gaben was on their side a little bit as well.
See, as well, it's a completely different game for Wami. Like, he's off to a flying start. Hood working on the Yule Scepter next. So he's going to have also Varese to play behind him to disrupt this chain control into Sharpshooter. And Wami has got a very, very good Timbersaw as well. So if you can get him off to a good start, he can really have a solid game.
Mm-hmm.
Top lane, they are
They're even
eyeing
able
up
Ken.
DB.
I don't know if you can kill Ken. They keep the Vendetta.
That's going to be tough though. Yeah, Razor's in trouble. They're going to break the static link, and Tihi, quick and easy. He's already got an early Veil on Tihi, so the burst is through the roof.
It's very important, but again, it's gone. I don't know how I feel about Orchid on the Storm Spirit this game. It's nowhere near as good of an item for these int mid laners or cores or whatever, unless your name is Nature's Prophet, but I don't know, it just feels like he's still going to be quite squishy in a lot of these engagements. He'll most likely catch up with Vito here, but
Vito's really struggling. Gonna be the 4th death of the game here for the Beastmaster. They're continuing to play around bottom. The Tiny is just... This hero thrives around the triangle, and Ken is not being able to put himself there.
And a big part of that is that this Beastmaster's lane just hasn't gone well at all. You know, the bottom tower's barely been tickled, and that is not what you want to see 15 minutes in as a Beastmaster draft. In fact, the first tower to go down will be courtesy of Wami down on this bottom side. He can just TP up to join his teammates as well if he wants to, close to level 12, to put a lot of that pressure onto the top side of the map. Now you've taken away a tiny bit of the safe haven if someone extends down into the lane, because again, bottom tier 1 tower for Radiant hasn't been taken, so reinforcements can come pretty damn easily.
What are your thoughts about JG going for this first item BKB instead of a blink to kind of give them a way back into the early game?
Oh, I'm not sure how confident I feel about it all. I feel like they need a way to start a lot of these engagements, but also, I think we've seen that RSG or TNC that we saw do it, where they played it really well. You know, you might be against an Abaddon and you might be playing a Mars.
Zip on, quick and easy kill. It's just the hoodwink, but it will be the awkward reveal, and you were kind of questioning how this awkward would shape up. If Azura keeps getting pickoffs like this, then that's perfect. Oh, he's even got a regen. Okay.
Yeah, if he keeps getting those as well, that's going to be very good. But what I was saying was, I think it was TNC that they were playing up against a Abaddon as a Mars, and they were making sure to use the arenas and use the spear very specifically to make sure the spear was away from the Abaddon, just to make sure that there is that space created to enable a lot of these team fights. And I feel like they've got a decent amount of damage, especially with this Veil on the Hoodwink, but just not going to have too much of it.
He's going to be blown up on the Tiny. This is a T2 tower that they're diving 17 minutes in. 5 heroes on Army Geniuses, and there's just no one on UDV nearby. No, not even a threat of anyone thinking about stepping in.
Oh boy, we've got Luzify here on the top side, and look to potentially stay in this lane. It's like he was just soaking up a bit of experience before TPing back, but that's a pretty big timing. Solar Crest, excuse me, for the Tiny. It's going to look to go into the Silver Edge next.
Oh, so close. Storm almost caught out the Mars TPing out behind the T1 tower.
You're getting close to a lot of these things, right? Like Tiny... So he's not going the Shadow Blade. He's going Blitz Knuckles for the attack speed, and then into the BKB. Not sure how crazy I am about that. I mean, I feel like you would be much better served just going into the complete Shadow Blade, because A, builds into the Silver Edge, and you want that earlier for the Timber Sword. B, you've got so much vision, right? The Monkey King, the Beastmaster, they enable you to find these key pickoffs on the map, and well, BKB doesn't really help with that. It doesn't give you the way to gap close and be part of a lot of these team fights.
I think the big thing is just that Radiant are pretty committal. Like Timber's going to get in the middle, Razor's going to run in the middle, Storm as well. If he's not perfect with his mana usage, then he could be stuck. And if you survive the burst, because Radiant are pretty spell damage reliant unless Razor gets a lot of damage out of static lane. His bottom lane, Rapido. He's going to be caught out of the tree line, and they're even eyeing up JG if they can find him. Azura's going to do just that. We're seeing these Orcas just pay off dividends for Azura. Wicked sick, 7-0-3, and now top lane, DB. There's going to be another kill for Army Genius. There's a solo for Razor.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all this. I mean, even Kenny's sitting here in the tree. What's the vision look like?
Look at the play. Army Genius is reading them like a book. The rotations instantly to top. They'll cancel the TP of Ken. He can just get nothing out of the map as Army Geniuses are everywhere.
Have you seen a caster curse as strong as this? I don't think I have.
I mean, they're playing perfectly. This is a exceptional performance from Army Geniuses. We saw Game 1 and Game 2. It was all UDV for 20-25 minutes. And this Game 3 is just completely different.
I feel like Azura is just feeling himself after a good performance, honestly, in both of the previous games. I know they lost that game number 2, but he still played pretty damn well.
Look how long range that zip was. Azura. Relax, man. This is just scary stuff out of the Storm.
8-0-3 now. They made sure to specifically... I mean, they had chances to respond to this Storm Spirit, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it like their 3rd pick overall?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 7th pick this game.
They had plenty of chances to be able to respond to it. It just doesn't feel like this Mars is the hero to do so. I mean, look at his net worth. He's barely ahead of the Nyx Assassin at this stage. Another regen rune for Resurrect. Come on, man. This is getting a little nuts.
They have done a very good job at warding around the river, and also when you're always playing ahead, it's much easier to have rune control regardless. But we've seen arcanes, we've seen regions, and UDV, they were on the page that Army Genius was going to look to take Rose shortly. We saw Lucifer place a ward at the front of the pit, but Army Genius just read this, you know, they de-warded and walked in, and there was no consequences.
They lose a tier 1 tower for it. I mean, the Solar Crest buffed up Granite Golem.
The lane can...
a lot there.
In trouble is what is that, man? He doesn't have too much mana to play with, but the age is given over, but the rest are raiding. Beelining to bottom. UDV, tail between their legs. Ken's gonna go for a TP out! Oh my lord, so close once again.
Oh, his courier might have given him away. Never mind. He's able to get away. So close there.
What is the angle back into this game for UDV? What are we looking for them?
I believe they just smoked underneath vision, so maybe they can look to set up as if they expect this is going to be coming. But you have to lose a decent amount. Oh no, they found him again.
Yeah, he's going to be killed off. That's 6 too many deaths, it feels like. Or Rapido, and they're running into JG, who has the BKB coming out on the courier. You'd hate to use your first BKB defensive like this, but Wommy might put you in a position to do so. He's going to try to TP him. Oh, there we go. BKB expended and... Oh, no.
I'm still of the mindset of...
No. Okay.
That would have been really demoralizing. And yeah, where Storm is the good question.
Wait.
Topside, he's going to look to hunt for Ken.
No. Woman's going to find him.
How do you not see him?
Tony's on fire, soon to be as well. Burnt to a crisp as Army Geniuses just sweeping the map. From top, mid to bottom they go, and they're even thinking about fighting mid. Naman pops a smoke, they're doing everything right. What a showing.
I'm still of the mindset of what does this BKB do on Tiny? Like, it doesn't really stop anything. You know, if you're going to get initiated on, you're probably getting burst. Not 100-0, but pretty damn close to it. I feel like you need to be the ones making the aggressive movement here. And I feel like the thing to enable that is the Shadow Blade.
I mean, maybe... I think he had the BKB queued up before the Spirit Vessel, so... But now I'm like a little bit more happy with it because of Narman going for this item, which just completely takes away the Tiny from really being able to play Dota without BKB.
I mean, just Shadow Blade and kill him before he can Vessel you, right?
Yeah,
Turn the Teamfight into a 5v4. You've got a Monkey King, you've got a Beastmaster Hawk. That's plenty of vision.
So it's still going to take quite some time for UDV to have this real team fight online. You really need this blink on JJ. I don't know where he's going to get it because they're continuing to lose towers, and with the position they're in, you just have, again, like Narman sweeping across the map. You always have Storm to be able to get involved, and it feels like you can't play this split push game to try and somehow edge out another item.
And we haven't even like spoken about
they're going to cut off JG. Narman gets an instant stun, and there will be no hope of a BKB usage. It's now Azura turning his eyes over to the Hoodwink. He wants to continue to send heroes back into the grave, and well, that they do so with ease.
Bro, excuse my language, but what the fuck is going on with these power runes? Like, it is a arcane into a region, into an arcane into a region, and into an arcane into a region, over and over again. It's actually ridiculous, the amount of value that Azura is getting out of this.
Yeah, Azura's...
He's playing well, but... I mean, come on.
It's Gaben's favorite child, Azura is. What do you mean? Come on, man. Giving him the luck. Yeah, well, I'll help you out a little bit, even though it's not an important game for Army Geniuses. Just really helping out with their confidence and setting themselves up for the next tour. But it's all on the line for UDV. This is a must-win series. If they take this series, then they will force tiebreakers, but they are in a 14,000 gold deficit.
Razor's nearly level 20. Hasn't even gone for the refresher. He's just like, okay, well, Tiny's eventually going to be ready to fight into us. I'll just go a bit more of a defensive build. Pick up that AC. And, yeah, what can they do about it? The only thing that I would potentially add for Army Geniuses to do would be to have a gem. They don't have a gem right now. It's going to be crazy value at just removing a lot of that.
They're going to run to the Tiny again to start, and look at his health pool starting to fall before the BKB is out. And now DB is able to lock into Ken, just choking away any opportunity of Ken standing his ground. Tiny's gone, and UDV, their numbers are soon to follow him into the grave as Army Geniuses continue to reign supreme. DB catches a straggler. The rest of UDV, I mean, Wami's even isn't a tier 3 tower. Like, Wami, what's going on? Who cares about anyone's territory? It's their home now.
They've got the siege creep as well, and I believe that's an AC completed for DB if he wants to go ahead and buy it. So he's got the advantage of pushing with the curse of burners.
Look at the spray. Oh no.
You hate to see it. But yeah, like that previous team fight kind of personified what I was talking about with the BKB. You get jumped, you get brought down to 30% HP just because you're reacting to a team fight rather than being the ones to initiate. And then your BKB, Razor can still link you. You know, your damage is suffering. He's chasing after you constantly. There's just nothing you can do.
Arena for the defense, up in 15. BKB is still on cooldown. Actually, JG just has his available. Look at all the sprays.
AC's available as well, so they're just pushing this a whole lot quicker.
You forced this though on Army Geniuses. Oh, what a spike. Carapace again before the BKB. There's no hope for Ken to utilize the item. As now DB's going to push them away from Azura. Who's looking to get some revenge. Deeper inside the base they go, past the throne, maybe even inside the fountain. A buyback on Repeater, but they've had enough as UDV see there's no angle back into this game, and they will be the second team relegated out. We've even got items littering the ground as well. Oh.
Poor UDV, man. They were so close to just getting a 2-0 based off of all of this, and you could just see Hustler there. He doesn't give a damn. It's Vape Nation time for him, as he's just like, you know, pretty standard. I was saying the Nyx Assassin isn't going to do much of anything this game, but it's pretty good. Making a lot of rotations, playing around his Storm Spirit pretty frequently. He was assisted by a ton of power runes that assisted Azura, but could just go back and say, well, maybe UDV could have put a little bit more emphasis onto denying those away from him, making sure that he just didn't have that free ability to roam.
Like you said, maybe this is the definition of a caster's curse for all four of us. We're predicting UDV. We felt like they had the lineup to take this, but unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to do so. They will be the second team relegated. And just quickly on Army Geniuses, this was the team that was sitting 1 and 2. They, I think, lost versus RSG and Talon, and they were able to win versus another team early on. And this is a team, though, that's been very hot and cold. We've seen them in a lot of Pro Series. We've seen them in a lot of other tournaments as well, third party. They're grinders, and just in the end, see them finish 5 and 2, which is a really good scoreline. Just unfortunately,
really
RSG and Talon are just a little bit better, but Army Geniuses, they could be in considerations now in 2 or 3 to maybe be one of those teams that can be promoted.
Yeah, I think previously they kind of were making up the numbers, for lack of a better phrase, but it really feels like Naaman has brought a lot to this team. I feel like Azura feels so much more confident around the team as well. He obviously was a very mechanically skilled player, but now he's able to connect it through to the rest of the team. But, well, the two teams breathing the biggest sigh of relief are going to be TNC and Motivate Trust. They're able to stay within Division 2 at least. No threat of tiebreakers for relegation or elimination, let's call it, from the DPC entirely. Unfortunately for UDV, not going to be the case. But believe that means as well that we are done completely for Division 2 for the season. No tiebreakers remaining, which means just Division 1. We've got one regulation series left, and then the rest of the tiebreakers to come for that one, as we've got Boom against SMG next, which should be pretty damn hype.
It's a hype series. Boom against SMG. We're going to send this to a break, and when we come back, the panel will break down the entire series.
Massive congratulations to Army Geniuses taking that series 2-1. They sort of had a bit of a stomp in this game number 3, and definitely the best they've looked early game. For you guys, I want to know just how well they did for lanes, but also how well the team lineup synergized together to have such a fantastic game 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with some of the lanes. I think they just drafted their cores better matchups, like... as much, it wasn't like there were ways for the Timbersaw to maybe get killed in the mid to late game if it was even. End of the day, he was going to get off to this good start. Same for you've got Razor versus a melee offlaner, like as well as a melee 4 position, like mid matchup. There's Storm, like does fine against a melee here in the Mars. So just felt like all 3 of their cores were under 0 pressure in the lanes, and you come out of these lanes, and your entire team for the most part is in a pretty good spot.
But they were also able to stay on top of the game. They were able to get these pickups, sort of always winning any fight that was happening. And for you, Sheep, how, what was working so well for them?
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually think regarding their draft, there's not obvious synergies. Yeah, they've lane countered and picked strong lanes, but there's no, Cuddle Ember or something, Eye of Storm. Really, it was just a lot of, play decisions. They were always scouting in the trees. That was a huge one for them. They would just come with Storm and search in the trees for heroes that were hiding, because when you're behind, you tend to like to play in the trees and split push lanes. And we saw UDV try to do that a lot, but they were just finding them. Like, Storm was so active. I think that was the biggest part of their victory. He was doing so much, killing so many people. He was smoking with the supports to side lanes, connecting to his team. They're just killing someone, looking through more trees, finding another person. They go top, do a quick sweep of the trees there, check to see if someone's there. Oh, look, another kill.
We say it's so much down to that vision aspect, but UDV had the Monkey King, so why wasn't it as effective for them?
Well, something I really liked that Army Genius did is they were warding the lanes.
Okay.
So usually you ward objectives or around places you want to play in, but something that you can also do is put wards in lanes of kind of entrances. Like, for example, where the tier 1 tower is bought for Dire, they had a ward in that lane area there. So it meant that when heroes came down there to try and split push or hide around or farm the hard camp, they just had their number. They're like, okay, this is what they're doing. We're gonna bring some heroes down, get pick off there, and that type of aggressive vision that you can put down and not have dewarded is so just for making sure your map movements are purposeful.
Definitely the best Army Genius has looked in that game 3. They won this series of dreams. We get to have a winners interview with them. Joining us is going to be DB. DB, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. How are you and the team feeling?
Good. Feeling good.
That's good. I want to know, for game 2, you guys lost that one. In your eyes, what were the biggest reasons or issues for you?
The biggest issue?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember game 2.
That's totally okay. I can ask you.
The ultra kill Medusa. We fell to defense the tower. Then the Medusa get too big. And then they just end the game.
Just end the game. Over this tour, what has been the biggest improvement for you guys on Army Geniuses?
I think the communication.
Mm-hmm.
Our communication is getting better and better as a team.
Awesome, love to hear it.
And we are in the same page, I think. So we know what to do to each other.
Awesome. You mentioned the communication. I'm curious, going back to game 1, I'm not sure how much you remember. It was a big comeback. I'm curious what the team was saying. You guys fell behind by almost 20,000 gold in the early game. Maybe you don't know that, but the game was looking really hard for you guys. What are you kind of communicating and to get back into that game? And what do you do play-wise to win game 1 when you were so far behind?
I think in the game 1, our strategy is just waiting for my BKB, and it feels like they just believe after we gonna win the fight after I get the BKB. I need like 25 minutes to get my BK.
And my question is, you have a ping pong table behind you. Do you guys play as a team?
Yeah, sure, of course. Sometimes.
Who's the best?
I think for now it's only.
Awesome. Well, DB, thank you so much for joining us for an interview, and congratulations again on the win.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. It's nice to talk to some players, some teams that we never really get to talk to. But what's the biggest strength to you guys for Army Geniuses? What did you love so much about them in this series?
Their ability to stay in it. Like we
Yeah.
thought UD might tilt out after the first game, but they didn't, and then they came back, and then they didn't tilt like on Army Jesus. They didn't tilt.
Yeah.
They just came back on the third. I thought it was a really good dominating forward. Their like team coordination was just like through the roof.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the ability to capitalize on mistakes as well. Like beautiful. Like looking good.
Same for you?
Honestly, I would say the same thing. I think perseverance is what kind of stands out. It's like this series didn't matter a lot for them. Like we can congratulate them for winning, but the real congratulations goes to Motivate Trust as well as TNC.
Yep.
Those two teams, congratulations. You're still in Division 2.
Yes.
They're the real winners today. Hopefully, they're going to buy Army Geniuses dinner or something. You know.
As much as we
They were the homies.
congratulate, you know, yeah, being like,
Yeah.
you know, nice
Um,
work. It's a bit of a sad condolences to
Yeah.
UDV. They are going to be dropping out of DPC. Maybe they'll make their way through the qualifiers. Maybe we'll see them
Yeah.
again. Who really knows?
They could be
But
back.
they had a great little run this tour. They definitely had some dominant performances, but there is still some more Dota to be had. After this break, we are going to be having the Boom versus SMG series.
go!
We'll see you guys then.